So say what you want. I'm happily married, and I love my wife. We have a beautiful daughter, and that's how we live it.
I mean, I always have to ask, like, people are saying your wife must have been like a little bit younger when you married her. I mean, can you set this record
Yes,
straight?
so she was 19 when we got married. She was 18 when we started dating. So, a lot of misconception out there about a lot of people try to like twist her age online and make it seem like she was born a year earlier. She wasn't. She's 22 going on 23. And, she keeps me young and fresh. What can I say? We have a love that people don't really understand.
We all knew Marques Houston was creepy after learning that he met and eventually married his wife, Marques Houston, when she was still a teenager. But, baby, the things she has allegedly revealed following their divorce are even more disturbing. And the situation got even darker when he went on interviews and participated in an entire documentary seemingly trying to justify marrying a teenage girl, claiming that he was young in spirit and didn't want to deal with the baggage he believed women his own age came with. The explanation only made the whole situation feel even more unsettling.
A lot of women my age are very independent. They are very like, I don't need a man to do this for me because I could do this for myself. And I come from a generation that I'm very, very, love to provide for my wife. I love to provide for my woman. And I'm very in that generation, like the old days, I would never want to be with a woman that felt like, oh, I don't need you, or I don't, what I'm saying, like that. So, and there's a lot of women my age. I've dated women my age, and they may have baggage, they may have kids, they may have not. It's just there's so many different women that I've dated throughout my life, and this just so happened to be the one that caught my heart.
And it's fair to say that now that Maya is finally a little older, she probably would have never married Marques if she had known exactly what she was walking into. Maya has posted content on TikTok several times, either by herself or with their children, but Marques is noticeably absent from every post. She has also removed nearly all of their pictures together, and there are claims that she has completely left the Jehovah's Witnesses and is now out living her best life. Marques, meanwhile, appeared to be deep in his feelings. He started posting heartbreak messages back-to-back on Instagram, including one that read, "Maybe I am hard to love, but I love hard." At this point, it looks like Marques is trying to shift the narrative away from the failure of his marriage and make himself seem like nothing more than a deeply passionate person. But while the marriage was still going on, he had plenty to say about everyone criticizing them and called people nothing but haters. In another post, he said, "My biggest flex is being a man of God, being in love with the woman of my dreams, being a great husband and a great father." Shout out to all the husbands and fathers out there. It ain't easy, but we get the job done. Yet despite getting the woman he described as his dream wife, young, beautiful, with no children before him, and seemingly dependent on him, it appears the relationship eventually fell apart. Maya now seems to prefer being single after everything she allegedly experienced during their marriage. According to claims circulating online, Marques was reportedly very controlling and frequently quoted scripture as a way of keeping her in check. And do y'all remember how this marriage even started? Back in 2020, Marques and Maya got married, and their relationship immediately attracted intense scrutiny because of their massive age difference. Maya was only 19 when they married, while Marques was pushing 40. They reportedly got engaged just 5 months after Maya turned 18. Naturally, people began questioning whether they had actually known each other for much longer because the timeline made it difficult for many people to believe that they simply met, started dating, fell in love, and got engaged within such a short period. However, the enormous age gap may have been one of the least controversial things surrounding their relationship. Maya had reportedly been listed as a missing child after running away from her adoptive parents' home when she was 15. It was believed that she left her adoptive parents' home in Oregon in an attempt to find her biological mother, Paula, in California. But then Maya seemingly disappeared from the public eye between 2016 and 2018, only resurfacing once her relationship with Marques became public. The official story was that Marques met Maya when she was 17 but wanted absolutely nothing to do with her romantically until she turned 18. However, people online quickly began questioning that version of events, especially after discovering information suggesting he may have known her much earlier. Despite Maya reportedly being listed as missing, she was credited as an art director on several Chris Stokes movies between 2016 and 2018. For those unfamiliar with the connection, Chris Stokes and Marques have been close for years. Chris Stokes is also a Jehovah's Witness, and some people believe he may have played a role in Marques eventually becoming involved with the religion as well. Almost immediately, people online started noticing inconsistencies in the timeline. Maya's IMDb page also mysteriously disappeared, which only fueled more questions and speculation surrounding her past involvement with those projects. Things became even more intense when Marques reportedly penned an extremely long statement online attempting to defend himself against the growing criticism. In the statement, he said, "I met Maya in 2018 through a mutual friend. Never before then did I even know she existed. The fact that she was listed on one of our films was a misprint or someone being messy." But that explanation raised even more questions. Why would anyone supposedly be messy about Maya's involvement when she was practically unknown to the public until her relationship with Marques became public? Marques continued, saying that he and Maya didn't begin dating until she was an adult. He claimed they fell in love and became engaged in March 2019. He also said that his father, Michael, loved Maya and that the people closest to him accepted and supported their relationship. Most importantly, Marques claimed they had Jehovah's blessing. But even that statement failed to answer some of the biggest questions people had about their timeline. If Maya had previously been classified as missing, how did so many people around them supposedly know nothing about her? And why did nobody connected to Chris Stokes appear to publicly acknowledge Maya before she turned 18? Despite the alleged connections surrounding her? Even more importantly, Marques himself acknowledged that he knew Maya before their relationship became public. That admission alone has continued to fuel questions about exactly when their relationship began and what really happened behind the scenes.
Me and my wife's situation is a little different, you know, how we met, you know, through mutual friends and everything like that. You know, when I met my wife, she was 17. So, you know, we had no really conversation and no really connection until, you know, she was of age. And, you know, people don't understand it. And I got a lot of course, I got a lot of backlash for marrying someone that was 19. And, you know, when we did finally start to talk, I was like, this woman is like me. And she was just like, when I would talk to her, she just, for one, we had a spiritual connection. And I feel like that's the most important thing. We both love God. We both love Jehovah, and that was key.
So he really expects us to believe that he never spoke to her, never approached her, and had absolutely no connection with her. But the moment the clock struck midnight on her 18th birthday, suddenly there was this magical connection between them. I'm sorry, but that timeline is exactly why so many people have continued questioning their story. And I don't even want to get into all the accusations that have been made against Marques and his manager, Chris Stokes, by former B2K members Demario Thornton and Quindon Tarver. There have been allegations suggesting that Marques may have started communicating with Maya while she was still living with her adoptive parents, potentially playing a role in her decision to run away. Those are serious claims, and they remain allegations, but they're part of the reason people have continued looking closely at the timeline surrounding Maya. There have also been discussions online about the culture surrounding Jehovah's Witnesses and whether relationships involving significant age differences or very young adults were viewed differently within their circle. Some critics have speculated that Maya may have been kept out of the public eye until she was legally an adult, allowing the relationship to become public without attracting as much scrutiny. Again, that is speculation, but given everything surrounding the timeline, it is understandable why people continue asking questions. And let's not gloss over the fact that Marques Houston also took the opportunity to criticize women his own age. He reportedly suggested that women around his age came with too much baggage. Since he considered himself young at heart and wanted to be the provider in a relationship, he claimed he didn't want to be with someone close to his age because, in his view, they were more likely to be independent, single mothers who would challenge what he said or expected. That statement alone raised plenty of eyebrows and made people question exactly what he wanted from a marriage in the first place.
Hey, I'm 41, right? She's 22. I could have married a 41-year-old woman and it could have been disastrous. They could have felt like, because I'll sit and talk to women and women that are my age, and they kind of have a different outlook on life. A lot of women my age are very independent. They are very like, I don't need a man to do this for me because I could do this for myself. And I come from a generation that I'm very, very, love to provide for my wife. I love to provide for my woman, and I'm very in that generation.
However, once they were married, Maya reportedly began realizing that Marques had just as much baggage as the women he claimed he wanted nothing to do with. Here she was, fresh out of high school, with no established career or much of anything she could truly call her own, while being married to a man who had already experienced the world, built a career, and gone through major life experiences long before she entered the picture. Maya reportedly understood from the beginning that she would be a stay-at-home mother because Marques had made it clear that he preferred being the primary provider for his family. But what she may not have expected was the possibility that Marques wasn't simply looking for a wife. According to the narrative surrounding their relationship, he may have been looking for someone who could fill the emotional role his mother once played after losing her as a teenager. And that was a standard Maya was never realistically going to be able to meet. As Maya grew older and gained more independence, she reportedly began wanting more for herself than simply being Marques's wife. She started creating content on social media, attending influencer events, and meeting people outside of the Jehovah's Witness community. Through those experiences, she allegedly began realizing just how much of her own identity she had sacrificed. Word is that Maya eventually started asking Marques for help with business opportunities and potential jobs. But according to claims circulating online, Marques wasn't willing to give up the level of control he had over their household. With the support of people within their religious circle, he allegedly pressured her to remain a stay-at-home mother and focus primarily on raising their twins. That may also explain why we reportedly no longer see Maya spending time with Chris Stokes' daughter, Chrissy. At one point, Maya and Chrissy were described as being extremely close, almost like sisters. But if Maya truly wanted to build a life outside of that environment, she may have realized that she needed to distance herself from the people and circumstances connected to it. And now that Maya appears to be finding her own identity, many people are hoping that, aside from co-parenting their children, she keeps her distance from Marques. Critics believe she spent years being controlled or manipulated within the relationship, although those claims remain allegations. One person online summed up the criticism by saying, "Marques Houston is a sick ninja, buddy." They questioned how Marques could claim he met his wife through mutual friends when she was 17, asking, why the F*** does he have mutual friends with 17-year-olds? The commenter went on to accuse Marques of grooming Maya as a minor and waiting until she turned 18 before making their relationship public. Some people even claim they remember seeing Marques interacting with Maya in her social media comments when she was still 17. Naturally, those claims have only added fuel to the accusations surrounding their timeline. Another criticism focused on Marques's past comments about single mothers. He reportedly described single women with children as red flags and said he would never date a woman in that situation. Critics now point out the irony, arguing that Maya eventually became the very type of woman he claimed he would never choose. To many people watching from the outside, Marques should have simply found someone closer to his own age and allowed Maya the opportunity to grow up without being placed in such an unequal relationship. The allegations and accusations surrounding their story are disturbing, but the full truth of what happened behind closed doors is something only the people involved truly know. But what do you guys think about all of this? Sound off in the comments and make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more celebrity stories and updates.